We are counting down the 7 most disturbing birthday deaths ever documented, where celebrations meant to mark life's milestones suddenly turned fatal. From innocent traditions and milestone gift-giving gone catastrophically wrong to parties that spiraled into annual nightmares, each entry on this list exposes how birthday pressure and ritual turned joy into tragedy. Which celebration became the most haunting anniversary of all? Let us begin with number 7. Sarah Martinez turned 25 on March 12, 2019, in Chicago. She was a marketing coordinator known for her sharp wit, bright scarves, and a habit of organizing office birthday lunches. That year, her co-workers booked a horror-themed escape room, a locked maze of puzzles, flickering lights, and fake cobwebs. 8 friends crowded inside, carrying a small box of birthday candles as a surprise. The rules clearly banned open flames, but Sarah laughed it off, waving away concerns. The candles were lit just long enough for a quick song. Wax dripped onto a hidden electrical panel near the wall. Within seconds, smoke curled from the wiring. Panic spread as alarms failed to trigger. The puzzle doors meant to heighten suspense now trapped the group for 4 minutes, long enough for thick smoke to fill the chamber and turn a celebration into a trap. Sarah collapsed first. Her carboxyhemoglobin level was later measured at 62%. 2 co-workers tried to force the emergency release, but the bypass valve had been disabled for a special effects upgrade. Paramedics arrived to find Sarah unresponsive. She never regained consciousness. Investigators recovered melted candle stubs and found evidence the fire suppression system had been manually shut off to protect props from water damage. The friend who brought the candles gave a statement. It was supposed to be a joke. She loved surprises. City rules now require automatic suppression and ban all open flames in escape rooms. Each March, Sarah's mother receives office emails meant for her daughter, reminders of a birthday that became a permanent loss. Jake Peterson's 17th birthday fell on July 4, 2021, a day already thick with celebration on the Alabama coast. His parents wanted a milestone gift, a parasailing trip booked with a local company swamped by the Independence Day rush. Video from the boat shows Jake grinning as he is harnessed in, stars and striped swim trunks bright against the sky. The deckhand checked the tow rope, but the inspection log later reviewed by investigators showed gaps. The line was frayed 23% beyond the OSHA safety threshold. At 2:48 p.m., Jake's chute caught the wind. He rose 300 feet above the water, parents cheering and filming from the deck. 42 seconds into the flight, the tow rope snapped with an audible crack. The camera kept rolling as Jake dropped, limbs flailing, before vanishing into the Gulf. He hit the water unconscious. 6 minutes passed before the crew reached him. Paramedics recorded pulseless electrical activity on arrival. Attempts at resuscitation failed. The company's records showed skipped rope replacements during peak season. Inspectors found the birthday weekend schedule overloaded. No time for full safety checks. The Petersons kept the video, replayed every July, the soundtrack of fireworks now mixed with the sound of the rope breaking. Gulf Shore's officials passed new rules, daily rope inspections, mandatory log audits, and a ban on same-day overbookings during holidays. For one family, every Independence Day became a reminder that a birthday gift can be a death sentence. Michael Torres greeted his 40th birthday with a challenge to prove he was not over the hill. His friends, eager to make the milestone unforgettable, booked a cave exploration near Carlsbad, New Mexico. The plan was simple: skip the tour guide, take the hard route, and snap a group selfie on the most dramatic ledge they could find. Permit logs later showed the group entered at 8:32 p.m., armed with headlamps, a tripod, and a cake stashed in a backpack. Michael's wife joked that the adventure year would start with a bang, not knowing how close that would come to reality. At 10:14 p.m., the group reached a limestone outcrop jutting over a 180-foot drop. Michael edged out first, balancing on the narrow shelf for the perfect birthday photo. The camera timer blinked red. Friends shouted encouragement, phones ready to capture the moment. As Michael turned to wave, a sharp crack echoed. The ledge sheared away under his weight. He disappeared into the darkness before anyone could react. Cell service failed inside the cavern. The first emergency call did not reach authorities until 10:43 p.m., after two friends scrambled back to the entrance. Rescue teams arrived at 11:18 p.m., but faced unstable rock and maze-like tunnels. It took more than 14 hours to reach Michael's body. The official timestamp on the coroner's report reads 12:27 a.m. the following day. Investigators found the ledge had a visible fracture line, marked in a geologist's survey months prior, but never flagged for visitors. Permit records showed the group bypassed the required guide, lured by the promise of a more authentic experience. In the aftermath, amateur spelunking permits became mandatory, with new warnings about unstable formations. Each September, Michael's social media feeds fill with automated reminders and untouched birthday wishes, a digital echo of a celebration that turned fatal. Emma Richardson's birthday started like any child's dream: 25 friends in the backyard, a cake covered in pink icing, and a rented bouncy castle standing bright against the Phoenix sky. The rental company arrived at noon, hurrying through their checklist. Stakes meant for soft grass were hammered into hard-packed desert soil, barely holding. A warning tag about wind gusts hung from one corner, ignored in the rush to let the children play. At 2:19 p.m., the National Weather Service recorded a sudden 42 miles per hour gust sweeping through the neighborhood. Party guests heard a roar and turned to see the inflatable lift off the ground, children still inside. Parents screamed as the castle rose 25 feet, twisting in the air. Emma was thrown 40 feet, landing on a gravel driveway. Two other children tumbled out, both suffering broken bones and concussions. Witnesses described a moment of stunned silence before chaos erupted. Adults sprinting, children crying, a shattered birthday balloon drifting away. Paramedics arrived within 5 minutes. Emma's injuries were catastrophic. She was pronounced dead at 2:47 p.m. The police report noted the castle's anchors had failed, and the ground showed shallow stake holes, evidence of a rushed setup. The rental company later admitted to skipping the recommended sandbags, citing a packed weekend schedule and pressure to meet demand for birthday parties. Investigators found the anchoring system did not match Arizona desert wind standards. The official accident log time-stamped the gust at 2:19 p.m., matching security camera footage from a neighboring house. In the months that followed, state regulators pushed for national anchor standards, requiring all inflatables to be secured with both stakes and weighted sandbags, and for operators to monitor wind speeds with handheld devices. For Emma's friends and family, each May brings a flood of birthday invitations and memories, reminders that a simple party tradition can become a lifelong scar. Olivia Chen's 30th birthday began at a Manhattan restaurant. Her fiancé had orchestrated every detail for a surprise celebration. The reservation included a custom champagne toast, an imported bottle with gold flakes swirling inside, ordered as the night's centerpiece. Olivia, an ER medical resident, had spent years treating emergencies. But that night she was the guest of honor, surrounded by friends and colleagues. The staff poured the champagne at 8:14 p.m. Laughter filled the room as glasses rose, the gold flecks catching the candlelight. Less than half a minute after her first sip, Olivia touched her throat. A pale rash crept up her neck at 25 seconds. By the time she signaled for help, her breathing had started to rasp. Stridor, the high-pitched sound of airway constriction, was audible by 52 seconds. Her fiancé's face shifted from excitement to panic as Olivia's lips turned blue. She collapsed at 1 minute and 45 seconds. 3 of her guests were doctors. They recognized anaphylaxis instantly. They administered an EpiPen, called 911, and started CPR. But Olivia's airway had closed too quickly. Paramedics arrived at 8:20 p.m. and found her unresponsive. She was pronounced dead at the hospital, her time of death logged as 8:34 p.m. The unopened engagement ring box remained in her fiancé's jacket pocket. The investigation uncovered a detail no one expected. The gold flakes in the champagne were not listed on the menu or the bottle label. The supplier confirmed the additive, but no allergen disclosure was required under U.S. law. Olivia's medical records showed a rare metal allergy, but she had never encountered gold in food or drink before. Her fiancé had requested the most special champagne as a birthday surprise, trusting the restaurant's assurances. In the aftermath, luxury beverage distributors were forced to update allergen labeling, and several states enacted new disclosure laws for edible metals. Olivia's colleagues filed a petition that gathered thousands of signatures, demanding national reform. Each November, the hospital staff lounge fills with birthday cards addressed to a doctor who never made it to her own wedding. Brandon Hayes turned 21st on Halloween night in Nashville, Tennessee. The plan was simple: hit every bar on Broadway, celebrate the milestone, and complete the 21 for 21 tradition, 21 shots before sunrise. Receipts later collected in evidence showed a steady stream of drinks, each one marked with a birthday message or a skull sticker. Friends filmed as bartenders lined up shots and chanted his name. By midnight, Brandon's speech slurred and his gait staggered, but the ritual pressed on. At 12:09 a.m., he downed his final birth minute shot, cheered on by a circle of friends. The bar's surveillance clocked him leaving at 12:16 a.m., car keys in hand. At 12:22 a.m., dashcam footage from a passing rideshare captured Brandon's sedan weaving across the centerline on Interstate 24. Crash investigation data later showed his car reached 85 miles per hour before crossing the median. The Johnson family, two parents aged 35 and their children aged 3 and 5, were driving home from a Halloween event. They never saw Brandon's headlights coming. The impact was recorded at 12:24 a.m. and 19 seconds. Both vehicles erupted in flames. Witnesses described an explosion followed by silence, then the sound of children's Halloween music still playing from the wreckage. The Johnsons were trapped, their car doors jammed by the force of the collision. Emergency responders arrived within 6 minutes, but the family could not be saved. All 4 were pronounced dead at the scene. Brandon survived with a broken arm and minor burns. Toxicology reports showed Brandon had a blood alcohol content of 0.19, more than twice the legal limit. The bar's itemized receipts, later entered as evidence, revealed staff continued serving him even after visible signs of intoxication. The 21 for 21 ritual, once seen as a rite of passage, became the centerpiece of a murder trial. Prosecutors argued that the tradition, paired with the bar's negligence, turned a birthday into a quadruple homicide. The jury convicted Brandon of 4 counts of vehicular homicide and aggravated child endangerment. In response, Tennessee lawmakers enacted a statewide ban on birthday shot challenges and expanded dram shop liability for over-serving. Each October 31st, the Johnson family's relatives receive Halloween cards addressed to children who will never grow up, and Brandon marks his birthday behind bars, a date now synonymous with loss for 2 families. Robert Martinez's 45th birthday drew 40 relatives to the family's farm outside San Saba, Texas. He was known for his stubborn optimism, his collection of old farm tools, and his habit of sneaking extra candles onto his children's cakes. That year, Maria, his wife, wanted a celebration that would outshine every 4th of July display they had ever seen. She paid $800 in cash for a crate of professional-grade fireworks, illegal mortars smuggled from a closed warehouse, with no instructions beyond a hastily texted YouTube link. The plan was to light the sky at 8:30 after the children's talent show. Illegal. At 8:16 p.m., Robert and his 3 oldest, Sophia 12, Lucas, 9, and Isabella, 6, gathered around the launch site 15 feet from the patio. Sophia had drawn a birthday card that morning, a cartoon of her father in a cape. Lucas wore his favorite Astros cap and carried a lighter, desperate to help. Isabella clung to her father's leg, giggling at the promise of the biggest fireworks ever. Biggest! Maria hurried to finish the setup, skipping the safety fuses to keep the show on schedule. She was running against time and the party's expectations, and the need to deliver a spectacular surprise outweighed caution. This choice, witnesses later said, was driven by celebration pressure and the desire to make a single, unforgettable moment. Pressure. The first mortar misfired, sending a shower of sparks into the crate. Investigators later calculated the overpressure at detonation reached 270 kilopascals, enough to shatter windows 2 houses away. The blast struck the children instantly. Sophia and Lucas died at the scene. Isabella was thrown 20 feet and was pronounced dead en route to the hospital. Robert suffered massive injuries and was declared dead at 9:02 p.m. Maria, carrying their 8-month-old son Diego, survived with burns and shrapnel wounds. Diego, shielded in her arms, became the only child left in the family. Only ATF agents traced the mortars to a lot stolen from a Houston distributor 6 months earlier. Serial numbers matched a batch flagged for missing safety caps and faulty ignition powder. Maria's purchase receipt recovered from her phone showed the seller's name as Big Tex Booms, an unlicensed dealer already under investigation. Federal agents found that Maria had bypassed standard consumer fireworks, convinced by the dealer's promise of a once-in-a-lifetime birthday show. Trace. The aftermath left the Martinez home frozen in time. Birthday banners still hung and became evidence. Sophia's handmade card was recovered from the rubble, its crayon colors smeared by smoke. Maria faced criminal charges for illegal possession and negligent homicide. She now marks June 29th not as a day of celebration, but as 4 death anniversaries, her husband and 3 children gone in the span of seconds. Each year, Diego's birthday falls in the shadow of the blast that left him an only child. Anniversaries. Federal regulators responded with a nationwide crackdown on illegal pyrotechnics, mandating lot tracking of all 1.3G mortars and requiring background checks for bulk sales. ATF launched a national sting operation, seizing thousands of commercial-grade fireworks from private homes. Safety campaigns warned against spectacular birthday displays, pointing to the Martinez case as proof that love, when mixed with risk, can destroy an entire family. The farm remains empty, its fields marked by scorch rings, a birthday gift turned into a permanent scar. Safety. Across all 7 tragedies, one pattern stands out. Birthday pressure and traditions can override our sense of safety, turning moments of joy into irreversible nightmares. The pursuit of special celebrations blinded people to risk, with guilt and trauma echoing for years afterward. These stories prove that even the happiest dates can become the hardest to survive. Stay vigilant. Sometimes celebration itself is the hidden danger. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts below.